If you feel stuck right now, overthinking all the little details of your life, thinking so much that you feel like your body's going to freeze and you can't move, watch this video to find out how I managed to overcome overthinking using a specific technique that I think you'll find quite useful. See, for the longest of times, I've struggled with overthinking and analysing way too much. I'd think so much that I wouldn't even act on anything. I would plan so much that I would never get round to actually acting on it and completing what I wanted. So what I did was I built this system that actually removed all the emotion and the thought process out of completing a task, and I just segmented it down into numbers. And I'm going to show you how I did that so you can implement it into your own life and you can find it beneficial to stop yourself from overthinking as well. Before I explain the technique, I'll explain a bit about my background. When I was 20, I moved to Sydney, Australia. Just wanted a change of pace from sunny Scotland, and I did door-to-door sales for about 2 years. Now, while I was doing door-to-door sales, I faced a lot of rejection, a lot of people telling me no, a lot of people telling me to leave the house now, just a lot of negativity in that sense in the mind. So I did face a lot of overthinking. I did have a lot of times where I thought a conversation with someone would go one way, and then it went the complete opposite, and then I'd walk away from the house thinking, where did it all go wrong? Why did that not work the way I wanted it to work? I would think about every little detail, and I'd overthink and I'd overanalyze, and I'd get so wound up in my own emotions that I couldn't function for the rest of the day, and I need to take a step back and slow myself down. So this technique that I developed, it really did help me take out all the emotion that was involved with speaking to all these people, so I could keep going without overanalyzing or overthinking. I'd make it really simple for myself. So this technique I developed. So I call this technique the daybreaker system. Basically what I do is I break up my day into specific tiny little measurable chunks so that the goal that I want to achieve by the end of the day, it doesn't seem so out of reach. What I did was I focused on the tiny things that I could control. Right? So when I was doing door-to-door sales, we were told the metric you're to focus on is how many people you speak to, because I couldn't control who booked in, who didn't, who said yes, who said no. I had no control over that. But what I did have control over was how many people would I speak to in a day. So my goal was about 40 to 50 people every single day. So I'd write down in my little book that I carried about every single day, I'd write down the goal of speaking to 40 people. And then on the page, I'd break down every single hour that I was working. So every time I spoke to someone, I'd draw a tally mark under the hour that I spoke to that person. Say it was like 2 p.m, I'd write a tally mark down. Maybe I'd speak to 5-10 people in that hour. And then every single hour, I'd do about 4 or 5 tally marks. And so what that did is that showed to me that I didn't need to speak to 40 people. I just needed to speak to 5 people that hour. And then obviously throughout the rest of the day, it compounded, and by the end of the day, I reached the goal that I was wanting to reach. Right? So basically, as I said, it just breaks down your day into small bite-sized chunks. So what you can do for yourself is, say you have a goal and it's very repetitive. Say you want to get abs for summer and you need to do 100 sit-ups. Right? Instead of thinking about climbing the mountain of doing 100 sit-ups, which seems like quite a lot, just break it up. Do 20 sit-ups now, do another 20 sit-ups in 2 hours, do another 20 sit-ups 2 hours after that. Break it up. So if you start at 12 o'clock, by 8 o'clock you'll have done 100, and doing them in individual chunks makes it a lot easier for you to manage your goals and to stop overthinking about what you're doing, what you're not doing, if it's working, if it's not working, why is it working, why is it not working. You can just switch your brain off and you can focus on the numbers of everything, because I feel like a lot of young men these days have the issue of overanalyzing everything, because I know I did. I would have like a business plan or some path that I want to take, and then I'd work out, I'd calculate, is it going to work, is it not going to work? I'd do all this research and all this over guessing. I'd never get round to actually doing it. And I feel like a lot of people are in the exact same boat. So I feel like if you take out all of the emotion out of your tasks that you're doing, it makes them a lot easier and a lot simpler to actually complete them. Now, I'm not saying this is a foolproof metric. Obviously, you're still going to struggle with overthinking and all these different things that go on in your mind, because I still struggle with them as well every single day. But that's why I'm building this channel, so that I can give you guys techniques and services on how to prevent yourself from overthinking and how to actually control your mind, so that you can actually build discipline to achieve the things that you want out of life. If you just stay consistent, persistence and patience, they always beat effort every single time. Stop drifting and start living.